Hello, Veritas community. So today I'm introducing you to another member of our teaching staff. Many of you, most of you may be aware that in the last several years we have been building a senior thesis program. It's been probably one of the most complex and important parts of our secondary curriculum. And it's something that sort of identifies us as a school in this community and largely in the classical school movement. Over the last several years, Caroline Nixon has done tremendous work building that program up and turning it into a really top-notch writing program. And this past year, we're all very excited to find out that she is now engaged and will be married. And then she's moving down to Maryland. And so she has left us a hole, a very difficult hole to fill because of all the wonderful work that she's done in that area. But this year, we're excited to bring on and to fill that role, Mr. Shayne Zigich. So thank you, Shayne.
Yeah.
Pretty excited to have you.
I'm very excited to get started. A lot of planning.
It's a big task. It's a massive task. I think one of the things maybe we want to know is, this thing's a monster, right? Trying to tackle senior thesis, helping students walk through this very important process. It's a big job. What are you excited about in tackling it?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about the job that I was super excited about was definitely working with upper school. Last year, working with some of the first graders in primary school was a blessing, just to be with an age group that I never really was with before. But now being able to kind of return to something I envisioned myself, the age group that I would be with, it's kind of cool and see how I could bring those two experiences and seeing how they grow, seeing how they write, seeing how they think, and kind of getting in their head a little bit just to see how people that are not, for me, too much younger than me.
Right.
But at the same time, just because of how time works these days, it feels like they could be decades younger than me.
Right. Time moves fast in these years. Yeah, good point. So the writing process, we've talked a little bit about this. The writing process is more than just writing, right? There's technical, trying to get the pen, paper, and get the words or ink in the printer, whatever it is. But then there's this other part where there's almost like a discipling element, where when you're writing, you're pouring yourself out, and then you're interacting with the student, helping them grow. Do you see writing as that kind of opportunity for you to engage the students as they grow spiritually, as they mature, that kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I love about Veritas so much is just how every aspect that I've seen of both schoolwork as well as outside extracurriculars, Christ is center. And you're bringing in people, you're bringing in an atmosphere that you feel open to sharing every aspect of your spiritual life. Now, I know some people might be a little more closed with that, and I think that's just takes time to get to know someone for them to open up. But I can definitely see writing being something that has helped myself in my life, my spiritual journey. Not always being able to articulate what I want to through words, but being able to take a moment, stop, reflect, write down, read, write down again. Something that's been a blessing in my life, and I want to kind of help the students realize that writing doesn't have to be this scary thing that you hate, and it's an assignment that you have to do. And even though that might be part of it, the grading part of it, there's still the aspect of, well, I could do glory to God by writing about a topic that might seem unrelated.
Now help me with that too, because I think one thing you bring to the table is you've done a lot of your own creative writing and journaling. How do you see, because I think you're right, there is this sense of writing as this formal responsibility. You've got to get this done, you've got to get this grade, you've got to write this paper. But you keep talking about writing as if it's another way to express what your spirituality, your growth, maybe a way even to converse with God in a way different than speaking or praying. Can you talk me through how writing serves in that way, or served you in that way?
I think that the creative aspect of it, I can remember in my own life where going to public school, they would really drill me on writing, maybe quasi-academically sometimes, right? And it would be more about what I put out there in terms of what someone else will read. And whereas that's an important aspect of writing, of course, especially academic type of writing, I think implementing that creative side, the spiritual, letting yourself kind of glide through the writing. Putting walls up, because everyone needs walls and fences, but at the same time allowing yourself to kind of swim through and see what it is that we're trying to do here, both with writing and discovering yourself as your own writer.
Right.
I think there's a lot of emphasis when it comes to product, and whereas even that's important, I think the process as well.
Right.
Getting to kind of understand, okay, there might be 6 steps everyone does. I get hung up on the 3rd step.
Right.
Kind of figuring out how you can make that a little bit more manageable and something that you come to enjoy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, that's good. One of the things we really want in our writing program is we want students to be prepared for college so they can walk into college and write. I think all of our students who have come out of Miss Nixon's class have come back and said, we're way ahead of our peers in writing, which is fabulous. And then there's this other component, which I think you're getting at, which Miss Nixon was working hard at. She brought in poetry, trying to help students to see that the words that they read in their omnibus class has also become words that they get to use to express their thoughts and feelings and find out who they are and probably in the act discover who God is. Do you see that connecting well? And just now you've been around because many of you may not know that Mr. Zigich has also done some subbing for us in the upper level. So he's done omnibus. We had an elective plan for him last year that didn't quite fly, which kind of disappointed about. But and working in first grade, which is a bit of a stretch for you. I think you've gotten a good view now of the classical school model, at least who we are. How do you see this writing project fitting into that project that we have here as being part of a classical school?
Yeah, I think, the senior capstone is really the culmination of everything. Right. We're starting with learning the basics, learning how to reason with the basics, and then being able to argue with the basics, and being able to not just articulate internally, but now externally put on paper those ideas more well than we did before. Right. is an incredible thing. And being part of the panels last year and seeing how both the juniors and seniors, how seriously they've taken it, and honestly how good of papers they wrote. I was a little surprised just how the depth of choices that they chose from reflect who they are as individuals, which is really cool. It's writing is one of those skills that widely has dissipated in society. And I think it's a big contributor, its dissipation, to why so many people can't speak well, think well.
Right.
I think it's one of those, I'm not saying everyone's going to be David and write Psalms, but as a Christian in an intentional community like our own, I think this is a great place to express the spiritual aspect of your writing. Give glory to God by the topics that you're choosing, by the academic coursework that you're doing. And then finding that kind of impossible thing to find where you're meshing those two together more well. Yeah,
that's great. I think one thing I did learn in grad school is that writing is thinking and thinking is writing. We tend to think of it as a skill set. It is, right? You have to learn how to use words and punctuation properly. But if you're thinking clearly, you'll learn to write. And so writing is also probably a lot of discipleship and self-refining. You're becoming a better thinker as you learn to write. And I'm excited about that because I know that's how you approach writing. I know that you come into it. And I know that Miss Nixon has done a wonderful job building the structure of senior thesis and junior thesis. And she's, built it sometimes out of whole cloth. And now there's a chance to sort of take that, continue it, refine it as you move on. So excited to see you do that, Shayne. Give us a window into Shayne Zigich. I know you do some other things. You're a fairly active person. Yeah. So what kind of other things keep you busy when you're not worried now about the large Nixon binder of senior thesis material?
Yeah, well, one of the big things would be the gym. The fitness stuff kind of came when I was in college at Grove City. And my roommates really kind of dragged me there. I wasn't super interested in going, but it kind of took off, and it's become a pretty integral part of who I am. And I try to treat everything I can in a ministry kind of way. So being able to take care of myself and train other people and converse with people at the gym with topics that a lot of them never really would receive is a big part of it. So that's an element of myself I can see myself continuing in different ways I wouldn't even think. Creative writing is obviously a big part of it. It's something that it's hard to get into, I'll put it, when it's on your own time. It's something I wasn't ever told, start doing this, or someone was trying to get me to. I just kind of started, and it was difficult at first, but then it kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
You kind of just want to carry a little notebook and write things every 10 minutes or so. Music's a big thing, listening to heroes of mine and developing stories, developing thoughts. It's a big thing. Reading is a big thing. I'm more of a nonfiction guy than a fiction guy. I got to get back into fiction.
It's part of our Veritas core, right? Is that we do get engaged with the classic nonfiction or classic fiction. But,
yeah. So that's been great, and I think handling that with with college and my roommates and staying in touch with them has been a big thing.
Okay.
So.
Now you're being humble here, Shayne, because I understand that you also instruct, was it mixed martial arts as well as Taekwondo? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So do you find those skills will be helpful when trying to wrangle students to writing deadlines, or are you going to separate
from myself?
Right.
Yeah, I think that was working at the UFC gym and then doing things when I was in a more traditional official school. It gives you skills that you might not realize in the moment.
Okay.
Working with people that are younger than myself and perhaps being a little frustrated why they're not getting what you're trying to put out there that's in my head, but then being patient enough to work through it with them and figure out how I can bridge that is great. So yeah, active lifestyle, I would say, is a big part of it.
Right. And it sounds like personal discipline is also a part of that feature, because I think writing, that's one thing we're going to help our students to really understand them. I think Miss Nixon's done a good job with that, is writing is not something you just, you start the keyboard, you just write these beautiful things just come off your fingertips. It's a matter of discipline and revision and edit and discipline. And at the end, you get this really beautiful, wonderful product, but it doesn't come without its sweat and tears in the process.
Yeah, there's a few people that are just, I remember Cormac McCarthy, when he was writing his pieces, he would just pick his typewriter up and write.
Wow.
Bob Dylan, same thing, right? Or 60s, he'd be sitting down and he would write a song that took 15 minutes, right? And it'd be
Mozart, maybe, composing with no notes. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's people that are like that, but I think for the rest of us, it comes down to kind of, this is gonna be a difficult few months.
Right.
There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's great. I think one thing we've really impressed on Shayne, and one of the reasons why we're really excited to have you, is understanding how the senior thesis and the writing program, because there's more Shayne will be doing. He's also going to be working in 9th grade composition, and he's going to also work with Mrs. Patola to help in the next year or two, not right now, but start to pull the writing curriculum together, and then also starting to help us work on writing across the curriculum outside of just the writing classes. So there's a lot to do this year. The big work is nailing down that junior and senior thesis and 9th grade writing. But we're excited to see that. And I think one thing I'm really excited about is Shayne understands how that fits, sees the work that's been done, really is going to pick up what Miss Nixon has done and kind of now start to grow that back into our community well. So I'm very excited to have you. If you see Mr. Zigich around, or Shayne to you adults, make sure you say hi and welcome him. He's not a stranger entirely here, but in this role it's brand new, and there'll be a lot on his shoulders this year. So we'll be praying and walking with you through this, and excited to see how the students will grow under your leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shayne.
Thank you.